Hey guys, and welcome to the Hobby News. Well, this week we've got some nice previews coming from GW. It's Black Templar related, if you can't tell. And yeah, so it looks like we'll be getting either some pre-orders next week or releases. I think releases. I'm pretty sure that they definitely would be bringing them out, I would imagine, as it's getting close to Christmas. So that's cool. So let's take a look and see what they've got. So we'll come down here, nice little gobbo there. And yes, the Sunday has rolled around again, and it's a very special one as the Heroes of Black Templar rematerialize with a full Crusade fleet of new releases. Yep, so I'm assuming they're coming out. So we'll take a look. So we've seen a lot of these before, but it's great they're bringing them out as quickly as possible. That's good for you know, all that Christmassy type stuff. And these are all really cool. I've talked about these before, but I think that they've done a pretty good job of capturing, I guess, that grimdark aesthetic that the Black Templars are, I guess, known for, or at least inspired by. It's definitely a chapter which really nails a lot of the background and lore of the 40k world. And all these updated models, I think, really do go a long way to capturing that. And they're trying out different armor types, different designs. So we're seeing some unique sort of styles coming through, which is really nice. You know, it just varies it up a little bit and adds a little bit of that old school flavor into a new design. So that's good. And as I said, the model which I kind of like the most, or at least the one that I think is you know, an important sculpt that's been made by Games Workshop, which is the Castellan, the one that's inspired by John Blanche. I think that's a very good move by GW and one that should be recognized. I'm certainly going to have one or two in my collection just to have, because it's very rare that they do that sort of thing. Mostly they're in line with whatever design brief that they have, and they very rarely step out of that. So yeah, it's cool. So yeah, we've got the old Marshal here, Helbrecht, and he's yeah, really lovely take. Again, with almost all of these Black Templar releases, I see so much possibility for conversion and, you know, homebrew chapters and so on. There's so much good stuff here, so many good details, pretty easily changed around to whatever you want. All the robes and everything. I mean, it's pretty good, right? So we've got him, we've got the chaplain as well, and again, great one. I can see so many Dark Angel interrogator chaplains based on this one. This is like perfect interrogator chaplain, right? If you're a Dark Angel player, you know, you don't mind a bit of heresy, then you know, you might be wanting to do like an Asmodai or whatever interrogator chaplain. This would be a great base to work from. It's like perfect. It's in a similar pose. Yeah, I can see a lot of Dark Angel players using this, but there's a whole range. Like, this would make a really great word bearer's character as well, like convert it to chaos. This is a really good base for that as well. You know, we've got the skull on the knee there going into the studs. We've got a lot of really good features here, the robes and all of this sort of parchment. There's not a lot here that, like, there's so, like, the imperial elements on this are so few and so easy to change around that this has a lot of opportunities here. So yeah, I really love that about it. And obviously all the servitors are great. They're super cool. I love all that stuff about 40k. You know, it's all that kind of really dark stuff that's in the lore that no one really talks about. You know, kids get into this and their parents letting them read all these stories and not really realizing just how absolutely dark the world really is, and what it means to be a servitor, like who these people were and who they are now and the punishment that they've been given and so on. It's pretty grim place. So, you know, and they're serving one of the grimmest, grim darkest of the chapters. You know, very I guess imperialistic, I would imagine, I suppose, or whatever you want to call it. Very martial orientated, very warlike, the Black Templars, and, you know, and very zealot, sort of religious kind of fanatics. So yeah, it all kind of melds together to make a pretty stark image, you know, of the future, I guess. So then we come down to the Emperor's Champion here, and you know, again, this is a cool take. I think here we're finding, you know, something interesting about the Primaris armor, and I think that hopefully in the future they look to change out these sort of leg greaves here. They do the fill in here, but I find that this shape doesn't quite work as well as I guess they're intending it to. It has a weird kind of bowl shape here, and what I'd really love to see is like when they do the next version or whatever, a new armor type for Primaris, is to maybe put in the old Mark. They're going for the Mark 6 thing, but they need to do a more, I guess, more angular front here and not have that knee bend in it, that sort of curve. If they were to play around with that a little more, I think they get a much more satisfying design shape, and it would give a variant to the Primaris armor. And I think that's what they're trying for here. You can see all through the Black Templar range, they're playing around with the different armor panels and seeing what they can get away with to make them still feel like modern Space Marines, but with some flavor from older days and different armor types, right? So I think they've still got a way to go. I don't think this nails it completely, but it is a nice try. It is a nice step forward, but I feel like there's a different shape here that needs to be had to really nail down that leg armor. But apart from that, I really enjoy it. I think there's a lot of good conversion possibility there too. So yeah, and then we've obviously got the classic here, and the way that you can build it like the really old one that was from the earliest days when Black Templars first released. I was there for that. If you're old enough to also have been there for that, then you'll know the design elements on this and where it comes from, as they've already stated when they were first showing this. So, you know, yeah, great. I love this. I like this. See, this is better here. Like, the leg armor here, where you've got the plated overlapping plates. I don't mind that because it breaks up that bowl shape there on the knee, and I think that works a lot nicer than the smooth one does. And so that's a nice addition. I do prefer that over the plain one. But overall, really great. Again, good conversion possibilities. And then we come to probably my favorite one in the range. Not because of anything, you know. Yes, the forms are a little bit odd and not quite correct and all that sort of thing, but I love it because of what it represents and the overall sense of John Blanche coming through in this model. I think that's a great achievement from the sculptor to be able to add that in, and I think that's really why I like this, and I think that it's unique for a lot of reasons. A lot of the shapes in here you'll never see again on another model, so they don't normally do this. So I think for that reason alone, it's just a nice figure to have in your collection, and I've certainly got some good ideas of how I can utilize this for other purposes and convert it. These shoulder pads are very unique. You're not going to see anything like this on any other model, and I think they've got some really good play. And even this chest piece here, you know, again, there's so many good opportunities to use this for other stuff. So there's definitely elements on this that can be really repurposed very easily. I mean, this is plastic. You just chop it all out and you're away. So yeah, awesome model. And then we've obviously got all of their regular troops. So again, great kit. You know, you've got all this cool little robe pieces and so on. Again, Dark Angel players will be enjoying all of this. And anyone else that's doing homebrew chapters, there's a lot here that you can use, so that's great. And then obviously these are sword brethren. So again, like, you know, great little components and pieces, chains and so on. There's so much here for you that you can dig in and create something unique. Yeah, I love it. I think that's definitely what's needed when you're doing these new chapters and new things. You really want to put that little bit of extra effort in and give the range something not just that chapter can use, but is obviously usable for many chapters and many conversion possibilities. It just spreads it out to a wider portion of the hobby community. So yeah, really cool. So then we go on and we've got obviously the Codex. That's great. And then their upgrade sprues. This looks pretty good. I don't know how generous it is compared to the other ones. It sort of feels like there's more here, but I might be wrong. The only thing it's lacking, and they all lack this, is a power fist. When will they put a power fist in one of these packs? Every single one doesn't have one. It's my only gripe with all this new stuff, is that unless you buy like a Terminator box and chop them all off the Terminators, there's like nowhere to get a power fist, and yet it's one of the most useful upgrades on your basic, you know, intercessors and so on, and there's just none around. I'm assuming the standard kit has one, but I've only I originally bought all those Indominus boxes and the one prior to that from 8th edition, and so I only had what came in those, so I haven't actually bought you know, a regular intercessor box. I don't actually know. I think there is a power fist in there, but it's the closed one. It's not the open one. I think that's how it goes, and I'd love them to do just a nice classic open palm, like open hand power fist, you know, in one of these. It would be really great, because, you know, sometimes you just want one. You don't want to have to buy a whole box just to get one power fist out of it. So something like that with a power fist would be great. I mean, you know, they've got this nice sword and everything, but yeah, where's the power fist? Just put it in there, you know. But anyway, I don't know what else thinks. Maybe you can leave that a comment if you if you've got a different idea. But you know, I guess I love power fists. They're like a classic, right? That and thunder hammers and that sort of thing. They're like a really old school classic thing that, you know, back in the old days, the rules used to state that if something was the strength of a weapon was double, you know, your toughness. So let's say your toughness 4 and the weapon strength 8, you're dead outright if it wounds you. So you don't just lose 1 wound or whatever damage the weapon has, you just die. and I always really enjoyed that. It really gave a sense of how powerful those things actually are. The fact that they're designed to rip through tank armor and so on, and when it hits a normal person, it's going to basically obliterate them. So that sort of thing I really love from the old days, and you know, I guess that's I have a sentimental value for that. But anyway, so we'll move on. Yeah, you got the usual dice and so on. This is a lot nicer, cleaner, simpler. That's good. I'm not a huge fan, as most people are, of the sort of wacky, crazy dice that they sometimes make. These are a much nicer set of dice that's very easily, clearly readable, which is much better for gaming. So that's good. And then they're re-releasing this, which is kind of an interesting thing. So they've just separated out an old chaplain and put him into an individual kit. That's cool. I'm happy for that. You know, even though he's a little small these days, you know, people still love their firstborn. And, you know, he's a great looking chaplain. You could do a lot with him. Again, this would actually make a really nice word bearer's character as well. He's got a lot of parchment hanging off him. You could do a lot with that to make him into something interesting. But yeah, that's cool too. Then we got some pins. Yeah, pins, I guess if you're into that, that's great. And then Horacy, we've got all that stuff. So yeah, we've got a few books and so on. And then this one, which we covered before, I really love this little Croxagore. That's great. It's nice to see them exploring new designs for the Croxagore from whenever they redo the Lizard Men. And obviously they'll bring out some plastic kits, new designs. And this looks like you're seeing an early idea of what they could look like, which is great. Yeah, really nice chunky style. And we've got the White Dwarf, and then obviously you know, books and Warhammer Plus. So, you know, a really good bunch of new releases coming, which I think is cool. And for all the Space Marine players out there, even if you're not a Black Templar player, you're going to be happy with these releases, because it does offer a lot of opportunities to convert and do your own thing, which is awesome. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Please hit that like button, subscribe button if you have, and I guess I'll catch you on the next one.